Hello everyone, it's Lizard in real life. Here I am bringing you a quick guide on how to set up for patch 8.4. At least this is what I'm gonna do. And also some brief ideas of what I think the meta is gonna be, how crafting is gonna change, etc. So first of all, if you haven't caught up to it yet, let me introduce you to the new stuff in 8.4. We changed mainly in terms of meta shaping is the new crafting and the legendaries. So for those who are not familiar with it, legendaries are basically a system where you have a unique and that has legendary potential. It can come from 0 to a 4, and then you get an exalted item that has to have at least 4 affixes, right? And one of them has to be exalted, of course. And then when you merge them, however potential you have, you will absorb into the unique, making it legendary, right? So you basically upgrade your unique thanks to an exalted. And also we're getting the crafting changes, which are mainly changing how stability works is being changed into crafting potential. But it's for this video, basically the most important part is that they're introducing Rune of Creation and Glyph of Despair, which we're gonna cover in a second. So the first thing, while you're listening to this video, while you're waiting for the patch, what to do, how to prepare for this patch. Well, all existing uniques we have are gonna come with 0 legendary potential. So in order to make legendaries, you're gonna have to refarm all of your uniques. How can you do that? Well, really simple. You can look at this will be linked in the description, and you can see each timeline has rewards of a specific type of base, and you can target farm those in order to get unique boots, unique quivers, unique caster weapons, whatever you're aiming for. In my case, I'm gonna be aiming especially towards jewelry and towards boots, because I think it's the best thing to target farm realistically. And therefore what you can do is you can just you go to your timeline. We know that for boots it's Spirits of Fire. We go to Spirits of Fire, we go to legendary, and as you can tell, we've done the entire web, 120 echoes or something on this web with a really fast character. And you can see I have undone all of my unique rewards. So you can see unique boots, unique boots, unique boots, unique boots, unique reward, right? Unique boots. I have all of them, everything that has a unique, it has been undone. Unique. So basically the idea is that when you log on the Friday, you have like 100, 200 unique echo rewards waiting for you, and you can just fucking blast basically, and you can get all the uniques quickly. Try to get that legendary potential unique, especially those low level ones that could be really powerful. And that's gonna be my strategy. And I've asked, the devs if there's any chance that the webs are gonna be reset, and they told me that that's not the case. So you should be safe to do that, and I hope you can use this trick. I see a lot of people have already started doing it after seeing me do it on stream, and well, I think it's gonna be way better to get into the juice as fast as we can. Alright, now let's talk a bit about what I think the game is gonna shape into, right? Because this is pretty interesting. As we know, crafting is changing, and we got the Glyph of Creation and the Glyph of Despair. Now, for those who don't understand what Glyph of Despair does, what Glyph of Despair does is you can use it on a tier 1, 2, 3, or 4 affix, and you have a chance of the affix to be sealed, and where that affix was, you have an empty slot. So basically you get a 5th affix, right? It's kind of like fracturing items in PoE, kind of. So you can technically have items with tier 5, tier 5, tier 5, tier 5, and up to a tier 4, which is what you can seal. And a lot of people got really excited with this when they first saw it. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna be sealing this or that. And then I think what we really have to read here is what the devs intend us to do really with this. It says the chance to seal is higher when crafting on affix of lower tiers, and it's also higher for exalted items and items with more affixes. What this means is if you use Glyph of Despair, in order to seal an affix, the lower the tier of the affix is, and the higher tier of the overall item is, the more chances for it to succeed. So if you have an item that has a tier 7, a tier 4, a tier 5, and a tier 1, you want to be sealing the tier 1 and not the tier 4, because your chances are higher, and if you fail, you can always reattempt it on the tier 1, right? This made me think a lot, right? Because a lot of people were thinking, oh, we're gonna be sealing prefixes, damage prefixes, big stats, big... and I think it's actually... I'm gonna do the opposite, basically. Instead of going for trying to seal, you know, a weapon with triple damage prefixes, tier 4, tier 5, something like that, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be aiming at those affixes that are really powerful or have really high value or really high utility at tier 1. For example, if we go to the database and we look at Flame Ward, right? Flame Ward charge. Right? You can see, doesn't matter if it's tier 1 or if it's tier 5, you still get the 1 Flame Ward. So this would be insane to seal. Cleanse for belts. It's called. What are the name of cleansing on potion use? 100% chance to cleanse. Tier 1 to tier 5, it doesn't matter. So it's gonna be way more realistic to try to get a belt that has this sealed than sealing a suffix like a tier 4 percentage HP or something like that, right? Same goes for weapons, right? You can have a weapon that has, I don't know, like, you know, crit multi, spell damage, and then on your suffixes you can get slow, chill, and shock, right? Or you can get, you know, if you're playing a melee weapon, you can get slow, chill, and armor shred, right? And this will open up crazy possibilities, right? Because there's a lot of classes right now, for example, the one that I'm playing, that at the moment I have to get slow from, because I don't have access to slow anywhere else, from the Dragon Blessing. And if you're able to just get chill, armor shred, and slow on your weapon, it means that you open up this blessing to just get the poison resistance. So you can see where I'm going here. Just for sealing a tier 1 chance to slow, right? We're getting up to so many tiers of value, right? Because we're getting 75 poison res, etc, etc. It will open up so much possibilities of you building characters. So again, don't get baited. It is gonna be way better for you to approach sealing with this strategy than if you just try to seal things that are not gonna be realistic or even optimal. Because let's be honest, let's just say you're playing a mage and you have a weapon that has 180%, you know, increased spell damage, right? We can see here spell damage. You have a 200 weapon, right? Spell damage. You have a 200 staff. 200 staff, we can see there. And you know you have a tier 5, comes with 190, right? Normally when you're playing a spellcaster, you're gonna be on 1000, you know, 800, 1000 something increased damage. So what is it better? To get to seal a tier 4 or a tier 1 for 30 extra spell damage? Or 120 if you get really lucky? Or to get the extra free utility slot? In my opinion, it's not even close. Going for sealing of utility is going to be so much more efficient than sealing anything else. Again, in case you want to seal things that are not like that are not just like 1-point wonders, like chill, like you know, like flame ward, like cleanse, etc. There's also things that have more value than others, and we can take a look at it really fast. For example, if we go into my current build, right, you can see that, let's just say I get a weapon, right? I get a weapon and it has prefixes, and obviously I want my melee crit, I want my melee void, but it comes, let's just say, with a tier 1 melee damage list as health. Well, that's pretty fucking good, because even a tier 1, you know, it's almost 10%, when a tier 5 is 20%. This means that sealing a tier 1 of this affix is half the value of a tier 5. Whereas, if we go for example to melee damage, a tier 5 is almost 50, when a tier 1 is 10. So by sealing a tier 1, you're only getting 1/5 of the value. What I'm trying to say with this is like when you go to seal, try to aim at the stats and at the affixes that have the highest value possible at tier 1. Other things like that, mana regen at tier 1, it's like what, like 10 to 15%, but a tier 5 is like 30. A tier 1 is basically half a tier 5, right? So take consideration into these things when you're making your plans and when you're actually aiming at sealing stuff that is reliable and you can actually target it and it's not like a 1% chance of happening. Because sure, if you can get a weapon that has tier 7 crit multi with tier 5 spell damage and a tier 4, like sure, it's gonna be insane. But can you really aim at that? I don't think so. Some people will get lucky, and those who are lucky, God bless them, right? But I don't think you can strategize towards luck, right? I think you should have goals that are achievable, like the ones I'm describing here. And if you get lucky and you GG get something super crazy, then go for it, But I will go into Dean's mindset when it comes to sealing and into the new crafting. Okay, now let's talk about the other rune of creation. Again, when people saw this, right, people were like, what the fuck, bro? We're getting mirrors in Last Epoch? No. This has nothing to do, I already said it, like this will have nothing to do with economy. This will have nothing to do with none of that. I think what this item is made for is, so when you make an exalted item, I'll show you some items, for example, right? Let's just say you have an item like this, right? Where you have a tier 7 weapon, right? And you still have stability left, and you want to use this to create a legendary, but you don't want to waste it. You use a creation, you get a copy for yourself, and the other copy you throw into the RNG machine, right? So again, use your creations, to basically go like, oh, look, I have a really good weapon. This weapon would be perfect for using on a legendary, but then I lose it, right? And maybe I get unlucky with the RNG. So again, use your glyphs of creation to basically create security copies of your items, pretty much. And once you have the security copy, just fucking go for it, and YOLO. And close your eyes and feel the excitement, like Chris would say. So yeah, I hope you guys keep this in mind also, because a lot of people were thinking that this is gonna be like economy focused or something, and I think it's basically the devs just want to give you a way to get adventurous with your crafting and your legendaries without being punished, right? Like at least you have one free try, right? Alright, then let's talk about legendaries, right? As the article describes, legendary items are basically come with potential, and the higher the level of the item is, the harder is it going to be to have 4 legendary potential. So for example, dropping an Omnis or like Ravenous Void or something like that with 4 potential is basically mathematically impossible, right? But dropping something like I don't know, Morning Frost with 3 potential, it could be plausible, if you play enough. That's why I think when you look at aiming at what legendaries you're gonna farm, just go into the database, right? Look into the items, and just look at what those low-level uniques you could really use into your build, right? Something like Ashen Crown, level 40. Chest piece is a good one, right? For chest piece we have where is it? Body armor, we have a Prism Wraps level 5, etc, etc. So again, I highly recommend you planning on farming this, and if you manage to play and you're lucky and you drop Wings of Argentus with 1 potential, 2 potential, 3 potential, then excellent, right? A lot of people seem really concerned about power creep with this new system, But I think people also need to realize that how hard really it is to make a good legendary item. For example, if we take something like Exsanguinous, this example they gave us here, right? Not only you have to drop Exsanguinous with 3 potential, which is going to be hard on its own. Even if you target farm it, it might take you. We don't know exactly how rare it's going to be, but they said it's not going to be something that you can just expect, right? You're going to have to work your ass for it, right? Dude, dropping a chess piece, that has tier 5, tier 5, tier 5, tier 6, tier 7 of the things that you won, just having a chess piece like this, without the Exsanguinous, the Exalted that was used to make this item, it's really hard to do. Like 99% of the player base doesn't have an item like this, just a chess piece like this, like perfectly rolled HP with tier 6 fucking vitality and tier 5 intelligence. Not many people have this, right? Including myself. So what do I think is gonna be a good approach for you to go for legendaries? Again, I'm gonna go back to my game here. There's gonna be 2 types of Exalteds. There's gonna be Exalteds that are so good that you wanna use them, like the weapon I'm using. And what you're gonna do, basically, you're gonna wait until you have Rune of Creation, and then you're gonna keep this item until you drop something with 3 or 4, maybe 2 crafting potential, and then you YOLO, right? And then you have items like this. For example, this item, right? It's an Exalted item here, right? It's an Exalted item. This item just dropped, I guess. Sorry. You have an Exalted item. I just dropped it like this, right? Well, chance to blind tier 6 is fucking useless, right? But what if I go here, right? And I have spell damage and I just craft on it, right? With Guardians, who cares? Like with the next system, right? And now you have an Exalted that has a useless tier 6 and really useful tier 5s. So what I think what you're gonna do is you're gonna use items like this with your uniques that only have 1 or 2 potential, right? So you drop an item that has like random Exalted stuff on whatever base, you don't give a shit. You craft whatever it's useful for you. Let's just say it's a chess piece, and it comes with tier 5, tier 7 stun avoidance or something stupid that you don't give a shit. Well, it doesn't matter. You just craft tier 5 health, craft tier 5 vitality, craft whatever plus skills you need, and slam it. And hope you don't get the tier 6, right? You got, like, for example, if I slammed a unique weapon, right? With this, I would likely get this over this. So I think this is gonna be really important for you to differentiate what Exalteds are good to just YOLO. Like, hey, look, I got another low-level unique, with one potential. I might as well throw a random Exalted at it and see what happens, YOLO, right? And then you're gonna have Exalteds where you have Exalteds like this, where pretty much, let's just say it drops a tier 6 that you won or a tier 7 that you won, and all the suffixes and prefixes are useful. This one's you're gonna save, because you don't wanna be using this on a 1 or 2 or 3 potential, because these are really rare, right? Or maybe you use it on a 3, you know what I'm saying. But make sure that when you're getting your Exalteds, right now in the current system, any Exalted is useful. Because again, you can use this. It's like necrotic resistance, necrotic damage. I'm not even playing necrotic damage, who cares? Doesn't matter, Just grab some hybrid health on it, right? And hope you slam it. And hope you don't get this too, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. Basically, I'm gonna be using this kind of like throwaway Exalteds as basically currency for slamming on my low legendary potential uniques. And I'm gonna save the really good ones like this one, right? On the ones that are basically a guaranteed, quote unquote, upgrade, right? So yeah, I hope this also helps people kind of like understand what their approach should be for the patch. Again, there's some things that I could be wrong about. There are some things that I might be overestimating how easy it's gonna be to get or how difficult it's gonna be to get. But at least you have a brief idea of how to start the patch, and we will see what happens. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the 10th. Again, I'll be there live, and thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.